Okay. Okay, now, we'll call this meeting to order of the Board of Zoning and Appeals for June the 12th. And if Mr. Rain could say the prayer for us, please.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day, Lord, that you've given us the beautiful day and just being able to come to this place of meeting and conduct business, Lord. And just, Father, we just lift up this city and our state and our leaders and our country. And we just pray for them, Lord. And just, Father, just be with this committee tonight as we conduct business for the city and just give us guidance, Lord. And Father, just give us a good week and everything we ask in your name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, if I can get an approval of the agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right. Has everyone had time to read the minutes? Do we have any corrections?
I'll make a motion, we approve the October 24th minutes.
Okay.
I'll second.
Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes will stand approved. Okay. Mr. Willard, if you will.
All right. Good evening, Board. Tonight we have three variance requests. The first two, 2023-C-049 and 2023-C-050 are going to be coming from the representatives of the Dollar General. 2023-C-4 is a variance request for Dollar General that will be located at 719 South Main Street. Property is further identified on tax map 150B parcel 100.00 and legally recorded at the Murray County Register of Deeds office. The purpose of this variance request is a reduction in the required number of parking spaces from 50 to 44 due to land elevation issues. You guys are going to have some updated comments from Will Hagar, our planner, who is on Zoom, and also a representative from Dollar General is here to speak on that issue too. So I'm going to turn that over to Will Hagar for comments.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Great. Thanks for having me tonight. Sorry I can't be there in person. Had a trip scheduled ahead of time, but happy to help where I can. You did a great job introducing this item. The first request is for a reduction of the required parking. This is something that's not typically handled as a variance, but they requested that, and that's their right. The way the zoning ordinance dictates how many parking spaces you need is based on the use and the proposed size of the building. So in this case, they're required a certain amount to accommodate the proposed retail store. The zoning ordinance also gives them an option to land bank some area for up to 25% of that required parking. And it's my opinion to make the recommendation that they take that approach. It would allow them to still the number of immediate parking spaces reduced, but it also gives the city a little bit of coverage in case uses change or the traffic there is not what they anticipate or beyond what the zoning ordinance anticipates, and they could actually provide additional parking as needed in the future. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, but it would be my recommendation on this first item to not make the variance, but instead recommend that the applicant come back with a land banked parking plan for up to 25% of the required parking spaces.
Okay, well, I see that would be like 12 spaces, right? They've come back
It could
and
be,
they've come back and identified on the plan like 6 additional spaces, so like half that amount.
Yes, sir. It could accommodate up to 25%. I think the total required was close to 50, if I'm not mistaken, which is a lot, and they could probably do quite well with less than that. But we also want to be sure that in case they do need those additional parking spaces, city has an opportunity to go back to them and require those additional spaces.
So procedurally, your recommendation is to deny the variance and then they would submit a new application for a land banking, or that goes with the site plan?
That would go with the site plan, so that would probably not come back to this board, but my recommendation would be to deny the variance.
Anyone have any questions? Anything to?
Would you guys like to speak with the representative that's here for Dollar General?
I'd like to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Good evening. I'm Dave Verlisi with Verlisi Civil Design. I do most of these Dollar General store designs for our client, Turner and Associates Realty. A store this size typically only requires, and this is per Dollar General, not per your ordinance, only requires, 44 parking spaces. I believe we're showing 50 at this point. Of course, we brought that up in the question, I think, earlier, whether that count was accurate or not.
It may just be a typo on the.
Okay, yeah, may not be. We'll have to verify that. My understanding was we needed to add or provide area to provide 6 more parking spaces to meet the requirement. The revised plan that we have shows available space to provide 6 additional parking spaces for the ordinance. Now, for clarification on this is a question from me to y'all, and to Will as well. The variance being, is it my understanding, am I correctly understanding that a variance isn't necessarily required and that the planning commission has the authority and purview to grant the land banking of the parking spaces?
I guess that's what you're saying, isn't it, Will?
Yes, sir. So land bank provision is purview of the staff in the planning commission. The BCA can grant a variance request and some other very specific items, but site plans are out of their purview.
Okay. Well, I don't see any issue with that at this point, if that's the case, since I believe we can show that on our plan. We have it shown at the current time. Should be, if I'm correct, with the parking counts. Now, pertaining to the variance request on landscaping, that is on the back side, the service side of the building.
We got to vote on the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Any other questions?
I don't have any. Have anything to say?
So Will can verify this, and I don't put on the spot, but I looked up table 8 in our zoning text, and it is 4 spots per 1,000. So it's a little over 12,000 square feet.
Yes, sir.
So 12 times 4 is, I think, 48. I don't know, Will, does handicap play into that as well? Up in there?
It does, but it's kind of different than you might think. You're required 1 handicap space, handicap accessible space for every 25 spaces. So if you go beyond 25 around it.
So really, we could deny this one and still everything's okay for tomorrow night? Or
Goes
would
to the
would
planning.
at least go,
It would go
at
to
least
the planning.
go forward?
Well, really, we don't need to vote on
We don't
this.
need to
because-
vote.
We'll probably need to deny it
Deny it.
or approve it.
Because you
one
have
of the two.
you have a variance in front of you
Right.
to approve or deny. What do you think, Corey?
The new site plan that you're talking about, where you showed the land banking, has that already been submitted?
I emailed that to Ben.
It's,
Okay.
today. I don't know if that's
And
printed out here.
has
Is that
Will seen
C1?
it as well?
C11,
It should be clear, clearly shows on C11.
because I do see the land banking
Kind of
on
hard
there.
to see it on the site.
Hey, Will?
I don't know.
Land banking.
Okay.
I'll put it on the email.
Okay, that's on the slide.
And it's in there, they could come in about 2 o'clock.
C11. Now, that means that there are additional parking spaces
will be added in the back.
Those
Can be.
inside.
Can be.
Can be
Yeah, the
if
side.
needed.
Side. They already have parking on the side.
But they're not looking at that it's striped. I think they just.
It's there in case they need it. They
It
can.
is.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
A few of them,
Okay.
maybe 3.
Okay.
Yes, if you guys look at the top north of their parking lot, they have 4 land banking spaces, and then all the way to the east there, they have the other 2, creating the 6 spaces.
Can I get any type of motion?
I'll make a motion that we deny variance request 2023-C-049.
Okay.
I
Second?
second.
Okay. All in favor of John's motion? Any opposed? This variance request was denied.
Moving on to variance request 2023-C-50. This is the second variance request, and this is the landscaping request. This is going to be in the, this variance is requested because this landscaping plan was in the rear of the property and was not going to be visible from the public way. So this office, along with Will, are in favor of this board voting to accept this variance request.
Because there's some pretty good sized utilities, but
That's just
Yes.
power lines and stuff.
power lines and stuff.
Mhm. Will, anything else you want to add?
No, it is kind of a unique situation. The rear of this property is much lower. Then you're getting into some wetlands and some railways, so the likelihood of something else happening back there is pretty low. So kind of the question is, what would we be screening from? So in this instance, because of these specific circumstances, I think the variance is needed.
And
Any question?
just to be clear, this is for 405 Haylong Avenue.
No, this
No.
is, we're still at Dollar General,
We're still at
and this is
Still
for,
17.
050.
Yeah,
Okay.
719 South Main. There were 2 same.
Dollar General.
Yeah, both of the
Okay.
same address. That's why it's confusing.
Okay.
Anybody else? Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve variance request 2023-C-050.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay.
Before you vote,
Oh, okay.
can I ask, when you do a variance, you're supposed to include in the reasons for your variance. So can I assume this is based off of Will's comments that y'all have in front of you?
That and the topography of the lot and the easements that are existing there.
Thank you.
You want that in the minutes for sure.
Okay. Can I get a vote? All in favor? Any opposed? Variance request 2023-C-050 passes.
variance request number 3 is 2023-C-053. Mary Kelsey Green is requesting a variance request for property located at 405 Haylong Avenue. The property is further identified on tax map 133I-D, parcel 006.00, is legally recorded at the Murray County Register of Deeds office. The purpose of this request is to ask for a side setback variance from 5 feet to 1 foot for an accessory building. In front of you guys, you will have Will's comments, as well as a submission from the Ms. Green, providing additional information on why she is asking this request. Ms. Green is in the audience to speak if there are any questions for her, and I will start by turning this over to Will again.
Thank you. Yes, during our review of the request, we could not identify a good reason to recommend this variance from 5 feet down to 1 feet of the side setback. one issue to keep in mind is, you know, a 5-foot setback is somewhat easier to maintain. A 1-foot setback at times, because you can actually mow it and clear it a little easier. It's a little, kind of counterintuitive sometimes because there's more space, but it's actually easier to get in there and maintain things the way you want it to be. Additionally, the applicant did not share anything specific to this property that would justify a waiver of the side setback. There may be additional information I want to share tonight, so we're open to that. But based on what was included in the application, our recommendation is to deny the variance.
Do you want to get up to speak or anything? State your name, please.
Hi, my name is Mary Green.
Okay,
And I'm Jay Green.
okay.
So the reason why I'm asking for it to be closer mainly is because my lot is so narrow, very long and narrow, and I don't have a space to park my car under. And so with it being closer to the property line, not only just functionally, but also aesthetically, it'll look better from the road and I can drive straight into the enclosed space. And also I can reposition the fence because right now my backyard is fenced off and my dog has access to the backyard via a pet door. And so if I do this, I am able to change the fencing around so that she can still freely come in and out. And I don't have to open and close a gate to pull in and pull out.
There's a 6-foot privacy fence
Yes.
right down the property line. So being a foot off, privacy fence in the building there, nothing's gonna grow in there anyway.
And we can extend the concrete to the privacy fence or whatever we need to do to make sure that there's no room for trees or whatever brush to grow up in between.
How you gonna maintain that side of the building? What's the materials of construction?
Well,
I mean,
Party board.
It's gonna be, carport's gonna be open.
oh, right, of course, I'm not really worried about the carport at all, it's a
We're gonna-
24-foot long building.
We're gonna get the pre-painted hardy plank. And, it'll be on the back side of it to match the old style of the house.
Mhm.
We're not gonna put vinyl siding or metal, we wanna do.
He can't per the ordinance, but,
No, I'm saying we don't wanna do a metal building.
right, you can't per the ordinance.
Well, the neighbors have just put up a new metal building.
Doesn't make it right.
Can't per the ordinance. So
So everybody putting up these metal buildings, metal
they
buildings.
either had to come through the BZA.
Yeah.
We see a ton of them.
And we try and police it as best we can.
Okay.
And if you call and make a complaint, they'll check it.
Yeah, we don't want to met.
Right, I understand. That's why I was asking,
Yeah.
because, I mean, I've got a wood structure on my site that's been there since the house has been there, and I can't paint the back of it because it's 1 foot off the fence.
Right,
You know, so,
but nobody's gonna be able to see it after we put it up, and it's gonna be shielded from weather with the neighbor's privacy fence. And hardy plank lasts a long time. So, and if she goes in and out of her kitchen door, and she doesn't have to, that'll keep her from having to open the gate.
can you not move it to the center of the yard a little more? The building itself,
Well,
can you not do the carport and then the building where you could
Well,
actually
we were just
maintain
doing
it?
it like a shotgun with the she shed on the back.
I
With
think,
the doors to walk through because her lots are narrow.
Mhm.
And if you bring it over, then you start getting right up against the house.
Yeah, and the kitchen window, it would start obstructing that as well.
there's a fire hall being built behind me that I can't see out my back window now. I mean, that just happens living in town, but my biggest concern is a 24-foot building, 1 foot off the fence.
Okay.
Carport doesn't bother me as bad being 1 foot off the fence.
Well,
So I didn't know if you could configure the carport next to the fence in the building over here.
yeah, I mean, what
I mean-
if the carport was 1 foot off and then the shed, we could move it the 5 feet off?
I can't speak
it's
for
more-
everybody, but I mean, that would be more agreeable to me.
About just being able to get in and out of it. And
Well, I understand.
Yeah.
So
I just, go ahead.
what my question is, so the blue rectangle here is the carport?
That's more of the driveway. This is my artistic rendition, so
Okay.
it's not totally to scale. I did my best, but
But you're saying that's
this is-
where the carport would be?
Not totally to the house, but it will be concrete. We're going to come back a little ways so that I can put a gate to drive into the backyard. So the backyard's not totally closed off. But the carport is going to start.
Yes, if we slide everything, we start sliding this way, then we start closing. With the carport, we can put a gate in the carport, we can go in the carport, hang it right, and still have access to the backyard.
I just kind of have a problem being 1 foot off the property line. I mean,
Yeah, because, I mean,
if one person does it, then we're
Yeah.
gonna have,
I don't know if Will has any input.
Will, what do you think?
You said no.
All due respect, I understand some of the desires you're trying to accomplish on the property, but I haven't heard really anything that's specific to this lot. That's not true of most other lots in the neighborhood. So, in my mind, just a recommendation, in my mind, it's not quite meeting the criteria for, a variance of this type.
And it's
Now,
usually-
hopefully there's some ways you can accomplish some of your goals. And it looks like the property is pretty deep. So I know my house, my personal residence, somewhat similar. We needed to add a garage, had a very similar setback. And we had to maneuver the driveway a bit to accomplish that. Hopefully something similar would be doable here, just a little bit reorientation of your proposed buildings. Hopefully that could satisfy you.
Can you not move it over?
No, because then it would, like, see that back corner of my house?
Uh-huh.
That's a big kitchen window. So if I start coming over, it just gets, the structure will be just in front of the window.
But she's just trying to keep it close. If you put it at the back,
Right.
then if it's pouring down rain, it doesn't do any good to have it in the very back of your yard.
Yeah, and then I wouldn't, getting to and from my house, just wouldn't make sense to me.
Will didn't include it, I don't think, in the comments from Ms. Green. But if you look at the findings of fact from the other one, when y'all are making these considerations, those are the factors that we're talking about. It needs to meet those factors.
Yeah,
And if you,
and I didn't see anything.
but
really.
that's what y'all decide. You make a
Right.
decision based off of that information.
Yeah, I didn't see anything met that.
Yeah, because that would actually be building in the right of way. We don't allow buildings to be built in the right of way.
Well, can we move it? Can we go 2 feet?
It's still in the right of way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think 5 feet either side of the fence is the right of way. Having a carport in that's a little different than a 24-foot building. I mean, the carport's not going to take much to tear down and put back up if you had to, but
So what are you saying?
I think I'm saying what I said. I'd be almost okay with the carport being 1 foot off, but I'm not going to be okay with a 24-foot building 1 foot off at all.
Okay, so you're saying, how far would y'all want the building to be off property line?
5 feet.
5 feet,
Okay.
but it's, yeah.
And I'm only speaking for myself about the carport. I mean, that's,
Yeah. That's still, that's more doable than anything, we just shift it out.
I would think, in my opinion, I would think it would have to be 5 feet up. Because that's what it,
I have a question.
okay.
Okay. This right here, you said you would tear down.
Yes, ma'am.
What is this and this? Are they buildings?
The bottom, what you're pointing to now is a patio.
Okay.
And then that's in between, that is gravel. It's a gravel drive that pulls into that shed. With the X over it, it's like more of a lean-to situation. And so just the color in between is gravel.
Okay, right here.
Yes, ma'am. That's
And this
gravel.
is your patio.
Yes, ma'am.
But Corey, just to clarify, what's in front of them is a variance that they're going to deny or approve. And we've talked about a different plan. I don't know how that fits into their vote of doing something different than outlined here.
I think that they could, well, they could approve the variance as to one part, but not to the other. But it needs to be based again on those factors, the exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of a particular piece of property, the rest of that one. It'd have to be the minimum variance that would relieve the difficulties. And not authorizing a different use. And so really it's the first, it's A and B that it would.
I know for a fact we've approved a carport or a shed off the side on one on North Main since I've been on this board. It was 1 foot off, but it was just the metal overhang, basically, just the carport.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
So
That was the
any sort of a
overhang.
building.
Any
5
sort of a
feet.
building, it has been 5 feet since
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just looking for any direction to them on how they should word their motion.
Up to them. I mean, if we are looking to do what Mr. Hunter is suggesting, I would say that you would approve the variance as to the carport, but deny the variance as to the building.
Gotcha.
But if you are doing what Ms. Cole is suggesting, you would deny the variance. So it's up to them.
I guess the question is, does it work for you?
That would work for me.
That
I
would
can make it all,
Yeah.
we were just trying to make it all nice and neat.
I
straight down.
understand.
Just over
But I
five,
mean-
but still put a door in
Yeah.
it.
And then maybe she if I came. I'm sorry. I really hate of them.
Well, by them taking down the old carport, you will have room to
Mhm.
shift it over. I'm okay with carport, but the building needs to be 5 feet off the property line.
What would the variance be based off of?
Yeah.
The carport will line up with the driveway, and that's what we did with the other gentleman on
But which,
Main Street.
is that, can you put it into words with those factors?
Let me find the right sheet.
Dated June 5th, 2023.
That's when we were supposed to.
It's probably the variance is the minimum variance that will relieve such difficulties or hardship and make possible the reasonable use of the land or structure. I mean, everybody should be able to have a carport at the end of their driveway.
It'd be nice.
It'd be nice.
And by the reason of the exceptional narrowness of the property.
Of the driveway itself. 'Cause it's very tight getting through. I did drive by there the other day and look at that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is.
Are you making that in the form of a motion?
I'll make that in the form of the motion that we approve a 1 foot setback for the carport and deny the variance for the building at 1 foot.
I second.
Okay. Can I take a vote? All in favor? Any denied? Okay, thank you.
And that's based off of these factors. We'll put-
If there's plenty of room to put the building, we could turn it a different direction.
Oh, here's mine right here.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're
I'll be
fine.
from Mount Pleasant.
That one, no.
But you know, we can everything.
I know that.
Half a foot.
Yeah. Mhm.
That is-
Yeah. Okay.
Madam Chair, there is no old business, no new business, and no staff comment.
Okay. Can I ask for a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Second.
All right. Okay. This meeting is adjourned. You all.